All right, welcome everybody to the Tuesday 10X interview. For over 15 years, I have been interviewing just badass leaders in the mortgage and real estate space. I am trying to interview more leaders in the real estate space nowadays. In fact, I'll be interviewing Tom Ferry tomorrow at 9 o'clock Pacific. That'll be live in our Facebook group. It's going to be awesome. I mean, we're literally days away from the NAR settlement changes coming into effect, which to me, anytime there is change, there is confusion. There's winners that win and gain market share, and there's people that don't. And I just always like to be the winner, and usually am the winner, because I think part of that is just a mindset, and part of that is just talking to other people, masterminding. So today we have Keith Collins, who I have interviewed multiple times. He is a very elite, top producing mortgage advisor. He's also a producing manager. He coaches and leads other loan officers. Looks like before the call, Keith says you're going to do about 16 loans for $9 million this month. So you're doing pretty
having a
good,
good
right,
month.
bro?
Yeah, we're having a really good month. It's been fun.
How do you think you'll do for the year?
It's going to be interesting. I mean, what a rate's going to do probably has a little bit on that. But for me, I came into this year and I said, if I can close out 50 million this year, it'd be great. I'm doing two big things. One, I transitioned back to broker and opened up my own independent mortgage brokerage. And then I started a nonprofit. So this has been a really interesting year with projects. And so I said in the beginning of the year, if I close 50, I'll be happy. And we're at 28 so far. So I think we're on path.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in striking distance with that, and congratulations on your nonprofit. I founded First Home IQ last year, and I don't know, there's just something about profits and purpose, and when you can be involved in projects that give you purpose, and also our business things that give us profits, it's a good way to do life. I wish I would have actually started this nonprofit before that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's funny. It's like I feel like I'm an old guy when I have this conversation, right? But you got to get at a stage where there is a significance that comes with that give back, and we've created a kind of a unique community around it. So I'm making great friendships as well, and it's actually been an awesome opportunity for business too. But yeah, definitely when you have a little more capacity, I try to fill it with other things, and this nonprofit's been really cool to do it with.
Right on, right on. Well, good. Well, the headline today is making refis easy. So we promise you guys, we will be covering best practices, tactics, and strategies to not just make refis easy, but to make them more valuable for the consumers. I think at the end of the day, if you could approach an opportunity in the market like this, like, hey, how can we save the consumers we serve money? How can we accelerate financial freedom? How can we accelerate net worth growth for consumers? They'll be easy. And so we'll pivot to that in a few minutes. Because the NAR settlement is literally days away from hitting, how are you feeling about that, Keith? And also, do you have any questions I should ask Tom Ferry tomorrow?
I'm feeling really good about it. I had just had a coffee with an agent that's working on a digital app to kind of work through this. I think everybody's kind of got their own spin and brand on it. I think some people put their head in the sands and other people have really leaned in. It's really split. I think things are going to change, and I also think a lot of things aren't going to change. So time will tell, really. I know I'm not bringing anything revolutionary to this conversation, but I do think people spent way too much time on it. And then I also think that some haven't spent enough. It's not something that has got me concerned or worried at all about the business. I believe in the entrepreneurial nature of the real estate industry, and we're going to figure it out. And as long as we attack the day creatively, we're going to be fine. There's going to be challenges, but why is it supposed to be easy? I think that's one of the things that a lot of us have lost sight of over the last few years. It's like, this business isn't supposed to be, it's supposed to be easy. We're not supposed to make the money that we make and it be easy. So we just have to attack the challenges that come and be there for our business partners. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we do need, as lenders, need to lead with empathy with our real estate agents, because they are in this. And so being there for our business partners they're not going to forget that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've done and had success with.
Any questions I should ask Tom, and anyone listening? I am building a list of questions for Tom tomorrow. So put them in chat. If you're watching this on Facebook, put them in chat. Any questions that you think I should ask
Yeah.
Tom?
I mean, Tom's talking to a lot of different people and he's got a unique perspective. I've seen a lot of real estate agents and coaching a lot of real estate agents across the country. So I think, my question, I think we talked about this a little bit before, would be, what's super unique, right? What conversation have you entered into with the real estate agent where it made you take a slight step back and like, oh, that's a completely different perspective of this. And what are they doing to take advantage of this? Because there is going to be a lot of opportunity in this. There's a lot of fear, and whenever there's fear, there's opportunity. So I'd be, what is one or two things that he's heard that are super unique that people are doing to take advantage of this as an opportunity in their business?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm definitely going to ask him what are the opportunities as you see it, and I'm sure I'll ask at some point what are the mistakes you're seeing,
Yeah.
uh, and um, and then I'd love to hear your take on this. I'm definitely going to ask him this: is how much of a bigger deal are open houses going to be? I interviewed the number one buyer agent in America last week, Ken DeLeon. By the way, incredible interview. I cannot recommend enough. I think it may be my all-time best realtor interview. Like, I don't know of an interview I've done that I got more takeaways from. He thinks open houses are going to be a bigger deal on the other side of the NAR settlement. Do you have any opinions on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can see open houses shifting definitely. Open houses are big out here. Agents do get a lot of traction from open houses. I think you have to do it right or you do it wrong. And some people just kind of, go out there and say, I'm going to do an open house on a Saturday and don't really have a strategy behind it. If you execute an actual strategy around your open house, it'll be successful. So it's hard to put a blanket statement on saying open houses are going to be the wave. I would say more so, who is going to be prepared for these open houses for the new questions and maximizing the opportunity with traffic. Those are the people that are going to be successful. There's a formula for doing a successful open house. You need to have it and follow it. Otherwise, they're a train wreck.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I guess I will just leave the blanket statement with everyone that there will be more of them. And I believe, and there will be more consumers that are buyers that are going to them, and possibly going to them before they commit to an agent. So with all that said, I'm looking for people that are applying best practices on that, and are just coming out with the best way to do an open house post NAR settlement. So Keith, let's get into what are you doing right now to have the success you're having?
So right now, I mean, this conversation's around refinances. So we're having a lot of success with those. I think that's an interesting, if you didn't do loans over the last 2 years, you probably don't have a lot of refinances to work. So that's going to be kind of a have and have not situation. But I think there's opportunities in the market to go find them. The news really advertises for us in our industry. I mean, everybody now knows about interest rates. If something changes with interest rates, whether it's right or wrong, the media is marketing for us. And so us getting ahead of that and leaning into it, I think that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. For me, what's always been successful is verbal agreements with my clients after close. And it's really simple and I learned this early on. I would have a conversation. I've had it with a client like, oh, Keith, I didn't know that you do refinances. You're calling a client 6 months later, a year later, and they already refinanced and they didn't know you did it. And that's shame on me for not being clear with my customer on what we do after the close of escrow to manage their mortgage and ensure that when the opportunity comes to refinance, we're going to be there letting you know you need to take it. And one of the things that we always do is verbal agreements. I literally have the conversation with the client afterwards. This is when we're going to refinance. This is what it's going to look like. This is the number that we're shooting for, the interest rate that we're shooting for with the specific cash to close so that they're ready for it. Because when interest rates come, we saw this on Monday, 2 weeks ago, interest rates dropped a ton and then they came back. Sometimes you've got a very small window to grab that opportunity. And if you're having to go through and resell the client all over again, your opportunity to lock loans at mass, I think, is limited. So setting up verbal agreements with the customer at close. Here's what the refinance is going to look like. Here's what needs to happen for us to make a refinance make sense. And when that happens, do you agree with me that we should lock? And if they say yes, then we're going in and basically letting them know, hey, this is it. It's hit. We're locking. Let's go. It's not this huge conversation about would we or should we. They're already in agreement with us that we should lock. So I think that's the first thing is everybody needs to change their process. Go for it, man. What were we going to say?
Well, no, I didn't want you to stop. I just want to make sure I got to talk between, go ahead and finish your
Yeah.
thought and then I'll insert something.
So rate alerts, there's a lot of different technologies that do that because there's two parts of this. You need to have a
Oh,
verbal
wait,
agreement
wait.
with.
I do want to insert something before you go
Yeah.
there. Like, so first of all, the script I've always used for that is the client for life conversation after closing. And so I just, a coaching note for everybody. How good is your client for life conversation after? Get it has to be after it closes. Like, by the way, you should have a client for life conversation at the very point of sale. That is part of your differentiation, is that you're not just a transactional, but you should have one at closing. And 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 it should be more than just about what's the strike price around refi. It should be around
Correct.
move up. What is your goal to move up? What does your next purchase look like and when? Is that a time thing? Is that another kid thing? Is that I get X in equity, but like what triggers that move up? It should be, if it's a family that has kids, it should be around, if you're a client for life, like let's help the kids buy a duplex or triplex to go to college. Like it should be about how are you going to help that family build wealth with real estate faster and achieve financial freedom faster in all the services you're going to do. So I just want to make sure you expand it. Also want to remind everybody, this coming Monday, we're going to be doing Scriptapalooza, and
Mm.
we're going to have Phil M. Jones facilitating a 2-hour Scriptapalooza.
What?
You didn't know that?
I don't,
You got to do a
dude, I
great
don't know
job of
how I
moderating.
missed that with
Yeah,
Phil
so
Jones. Of
yeah,
course
so
you
Phil
do.
Jones is going to moderate it.
Wow.
Jeremy Forcier is going to be talking about how to have a client for life conversation, and it's going to be facilitated with Phil M. Jones. So, guys, like
That's
that's
a must
Monday,
watch. That's a
and
must watch.
Denise Donahue is going to talk about how to systemize appointments with realtors and what to say with them. So
Mm.
check that out. Mose Gottling is going to talk about how to uniquely position yourself during meetings with first-time home buyers. She's got really good language that she uses. Gina Myers, how to respond to the question, what's your rate? Dan Keller, how to guide buyers through the NAR settlement changes at pre-approval. And then James Allen, uh, who, by the way, thank you for
He's
helping
a
get James
stud.
on the mortgage coach. You were one of the guys that really helped get him on the path. But he's gonna how to have a buyer pre-approval conversation when they are blind to knowing if the seller will pay the buyer agent's commission. So guys, get signed up. It's free. Go to savageinsights.com. There's a sign up link at the top. Uh, Book 2 hours, and back to you, Keith. Rate watch alerts or something like
I'm
that.
writing that down. Sorry, savageinsights.com. I didn't know that was on Monday. I gotta rearrange my schedule. That's gonna be amazing. Um, Rate alerts. So there's a lot of different programs that do that. So, I think when we put these things together, you will rise and fall to the level of your systems. And when we hit a refinance market, you need to make sure that you have systems in place, especially if you're a purchase lender, where the refinances don't impact the purchase business. Because that's the last thing you want to do is have your real estate agents thinking, gosh, he's making all this money on a refi and he's not focused on our purchase clients. Because refinance markets come and go, your purchase market is there forever. And so as you're building this out, we got to keep that in mind. And so rate alerts will really help. There's different programs that you can utilize where at closing, it will link in with your like Optimal Blue. A lot of retail lenders use Optimal Blue. You can actually set up rate alerts in there. And so you actually set up, okay, they're at a 6.5. It needs to be 5.75. When that rate is achieved, it actually sends you a notification. There's also CRMs that will just automatically do it for you. But if you're investing in a CRM or looking at new technology, especially entering into a market where we may see interest rates coming down, I think a technology that provides rate alert opportunities is going to be massive, because it takes the hunting away from the job. It just lets you know when the client's ready to go. And so that rate alert is combined with the verbal agreement or written agreement with the client to lock the rate when a certain rate has been achieved, and that's going to help. So rate alerts is one of the first things I think people need to look at if they're jumping into a refinance market.
So want to remind everybody, here at Trust Engine, we have sales boomerang that does,
Yeah.
what I'd call just the basic rate alerts, but the Trust Engine platform and the new mobile app that we have. By the way, Keith, have you seen the mobile app that we rolled out?
I have not.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry. We have plenty
I'm
of time to get
slacking.
there. And so guys, so check out, and I actually want to see your reaction on your face when you see this for the first time. So a couple things that make this unique is we're not only doing rate alerts like, hey, this person's in the money. We can actually also schedule strike price calls. So like, hey, let's call them, before they're in the money. So my screen is taking a minute to share. Here, let me try it one more time.
Is this available to individual users or just enterprise?
Oh, I know what's happening. Hang on. Let me just get this. It is enterprise, but I think there's a way we can figure out how to get this in your hands. Uh, so oh my gosh. All right. I'm gonna come back to it. For whatever reason, it's not letting me share it. Like I'm having a Zoom issue here.
It says you're sharing a screen. I just don't know if it's a screen that you're sharing.
But you don't see the screen, do you?
I see a black screen. Dave Savage has started screen share. That's all it says, and it's black.
Hmm.
Come back to it. No, sir.
All right, we'll come back to it, guys. Apologies. All right, keep going.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you want to touch base on that at all. I did not know the functionality within Mortgage Coach and rate alerts, but if they're already Mortgage Coach users and they can link into the rate alerts, I would say that that would be a massive opportunity to create some
Yeah,
efficiency in a refinance market.
and it will create the TCA, so it'll be like a digital assistant that gets the total cost analysis ready to go.
Okay. So before, I guess one of the things we would get into is TCA. So I'm just rolling through a couple of things that I think we can be doing right now. I find in coaching loan officers, they're afraid to reach out to real estate agents about refinances sometimes, but it's a natural part of the business and the industry. And I think that that fear may be misplaced because what if the real estate agent is the individual that provides the opportunity for the client to have life-changing savings? And so we are absolutely engaging with our real estate agents about interest rates. Anything from an interest rate standpoint is probably one of the most shared things that at least I have on social media. So real estate agents pay attention to it. They want to share it and talk about it. Whether we believe it's the right or wrong focus, it's definitely shared material. So we're reaching out to all of our real estate agents and just letting them know, hey, here's the target number. If you have any clients that got an FHA or VA home loan during this period of time, you may want to reach out to them and either have them go back to their originating lender or your lending partner, or send them to us. We would love to help them. But this is an opportunity for real estate agents to be reaching out to their previous customers to provide value. Hey, I just want you to know there might be an opportunity for you to refinance. You should take a look at it. Interest rates are roughly X. Engage your real estate agents. They want that information. It's not a negative thing to do that.
Yeah,
And
no, I think it's
everything.
and some realtors can benefit from an opportunity, So by the way, here it is. And one
Perfect.
of the other cool things, where this is a great segue with realtors, is tell me how a realtor would love to work with a loan officer that's monitoring their database. So looking at the entire database for eligibility and propensity, and it includes purchase signals. So there's not only, who's most likely to move up, move down, but let's just say rate eligible. Loan officer clicks on that. So every morning you get your signals. Every screen has an email button, a text button, a call button,
Amazing.
advice on why to take it, scripts, exactly what to say, exactly what to text, exactly what to email, copy the script, hit the text button, boom. So just
Perfect.
making it super actionable, super easy, and then, integrates with Mortgage Coach. If the
Feedback and
customer
data.
started to interact on it, it'll elevate the propensity score. All the data you have in your CRM plus all the data we have so that when you call the consumer, you can really net it out. And then exactly why we triggered the opportunity. Anyways, we call this the Trust Engine app. What do you think?
I think it's awesome. I think this is something that if you have access to this or you're using it, you definitely need to incorporate it into your real estate meeting conversation with agents. They need to know what you're doing post close to stay in front of the client so that we create stickiness. It's very important. Agents, when I'm meeting with a realtor, there's 3 or 4 things that they're just terrible at often. One of those is database management, and usually a mortgage person can come alongside them and help them with staying in front of their clients. Client appreciation events, database management, and the professional relationships are usually the 3 things that most agents need help on. And so having something like this where you can clearly not only talk about it, but show them how you're engaging with their customers post-close for life to ensure that when they're thinking about mortgage transactions, they think about us. It's extremely important. So I think that's massive. It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and
And
I'm
it's
putting a
simple.
link to a page, guys. If you want to see an interactive demo of it, check it out. Share this with your managers. Like it is an enterprise solution, but um, you know, there's a link if you want to get a demo of it. All right.
Perfect. So engage with your real estate agents. I mean, that's is something that we need to be doing right now. And it doesn't need to be in such a way we're saying, please give me the referral. Of course, you're reaching out, and I think that's a natural result from you reaching out and doing that. But you can encourage them to encourage the client to reach out to their the originating lender. But if you're making your calls to real estate agents, you should be having specific conversations about them getting in touch with their clients about taking advantage of the opportunity as it is today, or getting prepared for it. And that's a massive thing that we're doing. And then one of the things that we always try to do is we call it surprise and delight, but we always try to find different places and opportunities in a transaction, a relationship, where we do something that has never happened before for them. And one of those things in a refinance is sending the new appraisal to the real estate agent that helped them purchase that home, whether it's your agent or not. It's a simple email and a follow-up phone call after closing with a copy of the appraisal. You want to get permission from the agent to do that, and or the customer, let the customer know, hey, we typically follow up with your real estate agent after the close of escrow to send them a copy of the appraisal so that they have the most current data about the home if you reach out to them for questions in the future. Is it okay if I reach out to the agent that can help you purchase this property so that we can get the appraisal in their hands? I've never had a no. And often when we make that initial phone call to an agent, it's something they've never had that phone call before. Hey, I just helped this person save money. Here's a copy of the appraisal. Looks like the home went up X in value, and we were able to save them this much money. Like, tell the story. We were able to save them $350 a month, and they're taking that savings, apply it towards principal, and shaving off $100,000 in principal in 10 years with this strategy. Their opportunities for business with them immediately is going to come up. Opportunities for a coffee meeting is going to come up. And then it often segues into, well, hey, I have another client that this may work with, right? That you may actually get business, refinance business on the phone right there in that initial phone call when you send them the appraisal, call them and tell them about that, and explain the specific situation on how you help their customers save money and impact their life. It's an amazing touch. I don't know if you have anything on that, Dave.
No, I can't remember if you use our Rate Watch app. Is that something you have downloaded and use?
I do not, buddy.
I want to
Oh,
remind everyone.
yes. I have the Rate Watch app downloaded. Sorry, I was thinking we were talking more about rate alerts. Yes, I have this.
Yeah. So if you don't have this downloaded, just go to the App Store, ratewatch.com. I mean, you do have to be a MortgageCoach member or a Trust Engine member, but everybody has it. Just want to remind you that, you could share this, you can text it, you can email it. My favorite screen is this day watch where it's showing the day, and, super easy to share it. You could, copy it into a clipboard and, save that. Also want to remind you guys that, like, let's just say you're starting, because rates are getting volatile. They're going up, they're coming down. There's an offensive way of using this, like, hey, heads up, look what's happening with rates. And then, you can send a link with a TCA, and then you can go in here and you can change the date. Like, let's say you talked to a customer yesterday and rates changed. you could go pull up a previous day and show how what the rates were
Cool.
that day. So I call offensive defense. So if you've not downloaded this, just want to remind everybody it's a valuable tool. Would love to just get feedback on how often people use RateWatch. I'm going to create a survey poll and I'll ask that in a minute. Anyways, keep going, bro.
All right. Do I have the ability to share screen? I got a couple TCAs that we can get
Yeah,
into.
yeah,
The most
share
recent
the
stuff that we've
screen.
set up. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what I'm going to do is the first one, these are just two TCAs we put together recently for customers, active refinances. So one of the things I think is important with a TCA is when you're doing a refinance is always show them what potentially they could do with the savings. And the conversations that I'm having with clients a lot, and we have to be careful because I've almost talked myself out of refinances before where my advisor is saying this refinance doesn't make sense, but the customer is saying this savings is a massive impact to me. And so we have to be very careful when we're going through this because, again, I've almost talked myself out of refinances before where I don't think the savings justifies the cost, but they may need the savings in their life. So there's a few different reasons people refinance. They just have to do it. Or they have to do it. They want to make home improvements, or they want to do it if it makes sense. And so this is where showing them what to do with the savings, I think, can have massive impact. What's really cool is so this borrower here, this is a recent transaction. We're less than a year into the transaction and we're doing a refinance for them. They could go from the 7.562 that they had down to 6.5%. They're going to have $326 in savings. Great. But the thing I like to show them is what do we do with the 326? If we take that $326 a month and reapply it towards a principal, so I'm showing them one option, I'm showing them a second column, which is savings as extra principal payment. So just no change in spending habits, right? All we're doing is repositioning and changing the debt on the property. You continue to make the same payment you always made to the new lender and make additional principal payments. What happens? We now have a loan that pays off in 21 years. It saves them roughly $7,600 over the first 60 months, but this is the big one. I always like to show principal paid. So for people who aren't familiar with TCAs, on the long-term option, there's a few things that you can do. You can do net worth, you can do interest over time. I like to show the difference in principal, especially when we're showing additional principal payments. But in this scenario, the refinance that I'm offering to them, taking all the costs associated with the refinance, moving their loan amount up, doing all the things that we're doing to make this thing work, it's over $100,000 swing in the next 15 years of additional principal reduction without any change in spending habits. And so I don't know how else you do that. We literally don't change a thing except the mortgage, and we shave off over $100,000 in principal. I think it's amazing. So, yep, what were we gonna say, bud?
Well, I was gonna say one, if you could share an example of this in chat when you get a chance, so people can have it. And this is a great example of a term, both a payment reduction and a term reduction refi. And here's the deal, guys. If you are not doing this, you are not a client for life loan officer. Like to be a client for life loan officer, this is just advice, like showing people you can save money and you can achieve financial freedom faster and pay off your home faster. Like this is just a playbook for any producing managers that watch this. I would challenge you that if you're not leading by example and doing this with your refis, you're not leading by example at the highest level. And then to push you further, have you tested your loan officers? Like it's time that rates are coming down. I would have all my loan officers create an example of this and then do some role playing, walk me through how you would describe this. What do you call this to consumers, and how do you describe this feature of your service, Keith?
Well, what I let them know is I think, where a lot of people can make a mistake in a refinance is look at this $326 in savings and think that they're actually saving money. The challenge is that we're restarting the loan, albeit over another 30 years, or you're actually going to be in this home for 30 years, but you are restarting the loan and paying interest again. So if we just take the savings, apply it towards the principal, here's where we can have massive impact and save money. That's how I'm presenting it to them. I think, it's not should we refinance, is if we do, how does it impact us?
Yeah.
And that's what I
It
like
should
to
be
dive into the client.
when. I mean, anybody that has gotten a loan in the last 2 years, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, how many times and how often. And then remember, it's a journey, guys. If you're a client for life loan officer, it's like always be playing, don't play the 3-month game. Like, I want to help a transaction, play the 30-year game. How can I
Right.
help you, your family, everybody in your household achieve financial freedom with real estate? And again, this is just, yeah, super clean, bro. You always do such a great
Thank you.
job. You can share a link and love it. And
I'll
people, by
share
the
it.
way, people love the idea of sharing the appraisal with the realtor. Do you at all talk to the realtor and provide this kind of, is there a way that you're socializing this with realtors?
Oh, absolutely. So like, I mean, in pretty much any presentation I'm doing with realtors right now, whether it's a VA class or whatever, I'm showing them how we're talking with our previous clients about saving money and reinvesting it, making an impact. And it's a scenario typically like this. What I'm also going to do here. Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, Jeremy Forcier and his value prop script to realtors, he always makes the case that I'm going to close on time and smooth, but I've got a client care program that's going to help optimize referrals from everybody that you refer them to. And this is a perfect, like, okay, well, how do you do that? Like, what do you do that's different? Well, most loan officers, when they do a rate and term refi, they just do blank. This is what I do. And this is why I get more referrals. So again, just another tangible value so that you can actually keep that promise to agents that every business you give to me, I'm going to close it on time and smooth, and I'm going to get more referrals. Let me show you how. So anyways, love it, bro.
Yeah, and so this is, Walt Disney always said plus it, right? So we're always looking for the opportunity to surprise and delight, and then how do we plus it? And so, once we have this locked down with a client, we're absolutely going to call the real estate agent if that's one of our partners and say, hey, I just spoke with the Smiths. We're going to start a new refinance for them. We're saving $326 a month. They're going to apply the savings towards principal. They're going to shave off over $100,000 in principal with this change that we reached out to them. I just wanted to thank you so much again for the opportunity to help them with their purchase. I wouldn't have this opportunity to help them save money on the refinance if you wouldn't have thought of me initially, right? Like always be thanking the realtors and looping them in. And then when they're asking here on the appraisal stuff, yes. And then at close, I would reach out with the borrower's permission. I would reach out to the referring realtor and send them a copy of the appraisal and just let them know that we helped them, what we helped them do. And here's a copy of the appraisal for their records. If it wasn't the original referring realtor, with permission, I would still reach out. I would reach out to the agent that they worked with. Hey, who is the agent that helped you purchase this property? It's so-and-so. Do you mind if I reach out to them and put the appraisal in their hand? It's an opportunity into a new relationship, and it's probably a call that they've never received before. You're standing out immediately. Cool.
By the way, Aaron just asked, how does it help the realtor to see the appraisal?
I mean, it doesn't. But hey, if they're going to go sell that property, let's just say 5 years have passed since they bought the home, and then you do the refinance, and then in a year they're going to go maybe sell the property. Who knows? They've got a copy of the appraisal. How does it help them? Hey, I just helped the client save $326 a month. I think we're overthinking it. I helped the client save $326 a month off their mortgage. They're going to shave $100,000 in principal off the loan. One of the things that we always like to do with our agent partners is whenever we do a new appraisal with a customer, we always like to send it to the agent so that they have it for their records. If the client ever reaches out for questions or comps in the future, like it's just a touch. All I'm trying to do is an opportunity to get more business, right? I'm calling an agent with something that they've never had. No one's ever called them before under this premise. It's something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna cast a vision on it. So first of all, especially the NAR settlement, pre-NAR settlement, realtors cared less about things like this. But
Yeah.
going forward, realtors need to expand their value prop, and they need to be more valuable to homeowners and home buyers, and achieving home ownership, growing your wealth faster because of the advice and value I bring, and achieving financial freedom. And so when you think of this, when you ran an appraisal, you did a loan, you lowered a purchase price, that is a valuable touch point. And so to me, just being the pro, there's value in that, in the overall service that Keith's providing, there's value. So
Yep.
now I do think it requires an agent that is elevated, is
Yeah.
professional, that wants to build a client for life practice, but game spots game. And agents that are playing that bigger game, they're gonna connect a lot of value. And then agents that don't see a lot of value, they're playing a different game. So anyways, but great question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an opportunity to have a conversation with an agent that they've probably not had before. And it's an opportunity for you to get a meeting to show them all the other things that you do to help them stay sticky with their clients. Here's another one that I wanted to share. This one I thought was interesting. This guy is actually a bond trader. And so we've had some really interesting conversations with this client, but this client right now, we helped, look a little over a year ago, buy this home. And now, he's looking at some of the volatility in the markets with his portfolio, and he's considered bringing in cash to bring down the loan balance, and then couple that with a refinance. So, he got a 7.5%, right? 7.5%, 30-year fix. The options that we have today for him are about 6.125. We're not making the decision to do this. He wants to do this, but we're not going to make the decision until the data that we see tomorrow with CPI, because that's probably going to give us a direction as to where interest rates are going to go moving forward. But this is the one, he's going to go with one of these strategies. He's got a large stock portfolio. He thinks there's going to be some volatility with the potential recession. So he's saying, I'm looking at maybe liquidating some of this, doing a cash in refinance, getting some permanent savings, and then taking that savings, apply it towards principal, and saving up and paying the loan off even faster. And so into this scenario, he's going to be bringing in close to 137, 231, or 343. But this is kind of the scenario option two, if you will. The 671 loan amount is the one that he's leaning most towards. He doesn't, in terms of cash that he wants to bring in. And so what we did is, again, principal reduction. So he's going to save $2,100 off his mortgage payment by refinancing from 7.5 to 6.125, also reducing the principal from 882 to 671. He's going to save $2,100. But what he's going to do is he's going to continue to make the same payment. He's going to make the $6,600 payment he's been making to the new lender when they request a $4,500 payment. What I thought was really cool with this is the loan is paid off in 13 years. And if we look at the principal paid at 15 years, I mean, best case currently, he's going to pay $200,000 in principal over the next 15 years. But in this scenario, and I probably honestly should have adjusted this to 13 or whatever, but he's going to pay $671 in additional principal and pay this loan off in 13 years, where presently he's on a 28-year path to do that. That's repossession of the debt. And I thought it was really interesting because, the guy's a financial advisor. He trades mortgage bonds. A lot of times people talk about don't pay off your house. He's looking at this and seeing an opportunity to take some gains that he's had over the last few years, accelerate the principal. And he loved what we put together on how this might look for him.
Again, advice, you're helping a customer achieve their definition of financial freedom faster, and you're giving them clarity and confidence where most loan officers couldn't do that. So just reminder, guys, if you are in this community, we're all about turning loan officers into data-driven mortgage advisors that can help families achieve financial freedom faster. And so great case study, bro.
Thank you.
And I any other, like, what is your move? Like, I interviewed Josh Meadow last week, and he's got this list of like strike price. So he's making calls, getting people so that they're ready to go.
Correct.
I know, just because I've interviewed him enough, and I know how a lot of top producers do it. They'll put they'll have the customer agreeing to do it. They'll, in many cases, just text them a TCA like, it's go time. I've updated your whatever total cost analysis, maybe put a video on that. And then lots of times they'll just have people like, option A,
Text back.
let's go. So it's a text relation. What's your protocol? Like, what are your best practices on how you're going to optimize refis as rates start dropping?
Yeah, so we have rate alerts set up in our system, so it's letting us know when the rate's achieved that the client is as in writing agreed to. We send them the numbers ahead of time. This is what it needs to look like. And the conversation is different. You know, is this a conversation post close, or is this a conversation that we've had in the last 3 or 4 weeks about interest rates, right? The conversation and the urgency behind it is a bit different. I've got probably 10 or 15 clients right now where, I mean, everything's queued up. They've completed the application. They want to refinance, and we're really just waiting over the next 30 days to figure out the perfect time to lock the rate. And make it happen. And tomorrow is a big day that I've told them that's going to let us know probably when we lock or not in terms of inflation data. But what we'll do when it happens is I'll send them a copy of the updated TCA. The rate has been achieved. Sometimes it goes quickly. Just let me know if you'd like me to lock. And we already have all their information. We go in, lock the rate, and we won't worry about processing the loan. We'll just lock, get as many loans locked as possible. And then we come back and get everything set up and process it moving forward. It's how you lock 10 loans in a day. Is you have to have agreements with the client ahead of time, because you can't just be reselling the loan. There's just, I think it's impossible to resell 10 loans in a day with back and forth.
Yeah.
The other beauty, I would say that with this, and users experience this, but it's the real-time feedback. Is I can be on the phone with a client, they're looking at the TCA, they say they want to do something. Oh, Keith, what if we took $15,000 in cash out? Or what if we paid this additional debt off? Or what if we did this or that? It's very easy for me to change the numbers when I'm on the phone with them, have them see it live, and then get them to agree. Rather than, let me update a loan estimate, let me send it back to you, you're going to review it, let's wait to get back on the phone. It's just a very clunky process and it's not efficient. But utilizing the TCA, like with this kind of technology, is we adjust it on the phone, we get them to agree, we lock and move to the next one. You've got to be able to create systems and be able to lock and move forward, especially if you're going to do a lot of these in a short window.
Love that. So for the person that asked about the recording, go to our YouTube channel. So this video will be on our YouTube channel within hours. Make sure you sign up Scriptapalooza. Just go to savageinsights.com. It's at the very top. You'll notice earlier it was sign up for this call. Later in the day, this link will be to the actual video. Make sure that you're part of the mobile club and, you know, subscribe to Savage Insights. Just text 949-799-0837. A couple times a week, I'm sending out a text message. And then there's always a link, you know, to sign up for the YouTube channel. And obviously, if you want to learn more about any of our platforms, there's demo links down below. So Keith, we are rolling into the fourth quarter in a minute. I know you had kind of a list of things to share. I mean, first of all, you've already given a lot of value and advice, and everybody got a lot of bang for their buck. By the way, audience, let us know what you thought or what you think so far. Give us a little reaction if you're in the Zoom community. I'm seeing some hearts start to pop up here. So people are digging it. Where do you want to do in this last fourth quarter, this last 15 minutes? What do you want to bring to everybody?
Yeah, there's maybe two things. There's one thing that I would add to is loop in the financial advisors on this, or utilize TCAs to talk with financial advisors, how you talk about refinances with the customer. And so on that scenario, and I could probably find a TCA, but I don't have one prepared yet for this, but you can also, instead of principal reduction, you could show them taking the savings and reinvesting it at a 6, 8, 10% return, whatever their financial advisor thinks that they could get. And so financial advisors are getting questions all the time from their customers about refinancing. Be the person that can come alongside the financial advisor with information, tools, and technology that supports that conversation. And takes that load off the financial advisor's desk. Most financial advisors are not trained on mortgage practice, putting together numbers or interest rates. And so the TCA is going to, I mean, every financial advisor I've shown a TCA to associated with the savings and then reinvesting the difference with the financial advisor loves it. And there's a ton of opportunity there. So just like you're asking the customer about who is your real estate agent that helped you, and you're going to send over the appraisal, ask the client, hey, do you have a financial advisor that you work with? I'm showing you what you can do if you reapply it towards the principal, but your financial advisor might have a plan to invest it outside of the house and grow your net worth more. Do you have a financial advisor that we should be looping into this discussion or conversation? And you'll gain additional business and trust with the client and the financial advisor by doing that. So that's that extra touch.
And guys, just be leaning into all your financial advisors right now. First of all, the more you can get to the consumer first. It's good for you. It's also good for your realtor partner. So the more CPAs and financial professionals that know you, like you, and trust you, the better. And then as rates start to come down, I mean, this is a conversation where you should be reaching out to all of them, have case studies, like literally have a 1 or 2 total cost analysis, AKA case studies, where you show them that, hey, this is what I could be doing for your customers. I mean, back when I founded Mortgage Coach, I used to have CPAs and financial planners actually market to their database because they didn't want to go into a loan officer and not getting advice. They wanted price with advice. And when dealing with financial planners, you may have shown like, hey, column B is prepaying your mortgage, and column C is investing that with me. So you can really use this as a strategic tool with financial advisors. So cool. And thank you
The
for
other thing,
sharing what you shared.
yeah, I provided a YouTube link here. And so this is something that I think I share this with most real estate agents after our initial meeting as a follow-up to explain how we look at the relationship with our customers and how we might be able to interact with those customers differently. I think this is a great video. It's called 7-Star Service in a 3-Star Industry. This guy was speaking at Inman years ago, and he just talks about the different touches that they do post-close with a client. And one of the things that we do, and we do this a lot with refinances when we get referred to refinance, because it's a different thing. I have, and it's, I think it's cool. I set up a relationship with a local restaurant. I'm friends with the GM. They've got my credit card on file. And so what I do is I just send an email over to Gino at Gray's and I say, hey, Gino, this person just referred me a customer, or this is a VIP client for me. Can you please reach out to them and set up a reservation? So I think, post-closing clients, we'll give gift card. We give stupid closing gifts, right? We give gift cards to Home Depot or whatever. Real estate agents do the same thing. What I think that we need to do with a lot of this is provide an experience that they've not had before. It's an experience economy. What are they going to recommend? What are they going to talk about? What are they going to share on social media? How many customers have received a phone call from a GM from a restaurant saying so-and-so said you're an important person to them, and I'm calling to set up a reservation for dinner on them? So one of the things that we're doing in refinance is when we get a referral from a financial advisor or something like that, and we want to say thank you, this is something that we do a lot with during refinance season. So I just send an email over to Gino. Hey, Gino, these are the Smiths. I just helped them with the refinance. They're a VIP client. Can you please reach out to them and set up a reservation? So Gino calls, sets up the reservation. The dinner's on me. I pick a restaurant that's nice, but I'm not going to get into too much trouble at Gray's in terms of a bill, but the bill is completely covered. And I get a ton of feedback from clients or that referral source after we do this. It's massive. So take a look at this video. Did it not come through? Because it looks like you reshared it, but I think it's an amazing video. There's a lot of really cool things that you can take from this to create kind of that surprise and delight service. And one of those things is setting up a restaurant relationship like this.
Yeah, no, well, I love the title. I wanted to reshare it just so people could see delivering 7-star service in a 3-star industry. And you just heard it, like Keith not only has become one with that message, he gives that to all of his clients. So they know what he does, how he does it, and where he's coming from. So we're in the last 10 minutes. Remember, folks, if you have questions for Keith, put them in. We'll get to them. Before I have you share another takeaway for everyone, I'm just curious, a guy like you, what is the definition of success to you?
Man, I hear this a lot. Is, when people are old and looking back at their life, they're not thinking about how much time they worked, but how much time they spent with their family. And so for me, I look at a successful day as if I'm home before dinner, it's a proactive day, but am I investing with my kids? And so for me, life balance has always been extremely important. So success for me is creating this amazing life that we get to have, but I'm going to horse lessons and watching the girls ride horses and do the things that they love, doing date night with a wife. It's those types of things. The problem with this industry, the benefit and the problem is it's unlimited opportunity, but it also can take all of your time. And we have to be very careful to find that balance. And so the original question, I think, was around success. That's for me is how
Yeah, how
much
do you
time am
define
I investing with my
success? And by the
family?
way, anybody that wants to share that, I did some journaling on that a couple days ago. What does success mean to you personally? I spent one of my mornings recently just journaling on that. And for me personally, I found that it wasn't just one thing, like there's no doubt family meals, where I cooked dinner and we were all together and we were laughing. I mean, that is part of it, but it was, something for everybody to think about right now. All right,
As a
man. So we got
man, yeah, as a man, a present father is extremely important into the house. And I think the more time that I can be there for two girls, impressionable girls, is going to be directly related to their future success.
for sure, for sure. So let's close it out strong, bro. What else you got to bring to everybody? Any other ideas, any strategies you want to share about your nonprofit? I know a little bit about it, but you pick how you want to close out today's 10X interview.
Yeah, I actually, that would be a good one. We can close out with a nonprofit. I think there's an opportunity for everybody to kind of get in with this. I'll put it in and create their own version of this. It's 100strong. .org. I'm putting the website there. So if you goes just, well, it would be www.100strong.org. But okay, so as a guy, I think, women do community really well. Guys kind of suck at it. It's really easy for us to get together and have a bourbon or play poker or whatever, but I wanted to have more of a purpose behind us getting together. And so I created 100 Strong. 100 guys get together once a quarter, each bring $100, 3 local grassroots charities distributing the money to local community pitch. We vote, and that night one charity walks away with $10,000. And we do it 4 times a year, and we give away $40,000 a year to charities. So our goal is to introduce local deserving charities to faithful, resourceful men, and then create community around it. And so for me, relocating out here to Nashville 3 years ago, I completely had to restart my community of friends and men. And this has been a great opportunity for me to do that. I'm surrounded by 100 amazing men, very influential business people, very connected people. It's been extremely intentional as to who we've put in the room and why we've put them there. But it's been an awesome opportunity to meet men, give back, and create community. And now it's creating a lot of business opportunity for me too. So I think, the loan officer of the future has to have multiple channels of business. And as we look at our business, what channels can we create that is a self-sourced channel, meaning it's not reliant on a real estate agent to send you business. What businesses, what channel do you have that generates your own opportunities for you to do with what you want? I think the successful loan officer of the future has that channel. And for me, this is the channel that I'm building, and I'm doing it in a way that I'm also giving back to the community. I am connecting with 100 men, leading the group once a quarter that will touch real estate in some way. My heart in that is to give back, but that is the opportunity for me. And so it's providing significance, it's providing opportunity in the market, and it's also introducing me to new guys. So it's easy, and it's I would hope more people would replicate it.
Yeah, what a beautiful mission. What, how did you do it? Like it was your idea and you just got 1 or 2
Yeah.
people to do it? Like give me a little more backstory. I'm just personally
Yeah, so
curious.
I got the idea back in 2019, and we were going to set up the nonprofit. It's all the 501c3 all got set up, and we were going to, in California, do our first event in middle of 2020. That didn't happen, right? And so then we relocated out here, and honestly, I ran into a couple of guys that asked a really good question. What's got you excited? And I shared the 100 Strong story, and they said, we've got to do it. And the conversation went like, I don't have the resources out here to make this thing happen. And 2 of the guys said, we do. Let's just put it together and make it happen. So the beauty of this is, 1 + 1 = 10. And so it requires setting up what we call founding fathers, but a board that help you put these events on, because you're basically putting together 4 events per year, which are very time intensive for 100 guys at a really cool venue, while bringing in charities to pitch. I mean, there's actually a lot of components to it, but it's really important to have that board. So the structure that we put together is there's 8 guys on the board. We break up into pairs of 2, and then you're responsible for one event a quarter, and then the other 6 guys come in and just provide support. So really, you're part of this organization, you're running this charity, putting it on, but really you're only working intensively for a 3-month period of time to put on your one event, and then you're providing support in the others, if that makes sense.
So awesome.
Um,
And you already got one
yeah,
person that says, I'm going to replicate that.
I don't know who
Are
that
you-
is, but reach out to me if you have any questions on it. I would love to share the story and give you any resources you need to set it up.
Yeah, yeah, reach out.
Um,
What is you again, Keith is also just he does such a great job on social media. He is a man of value. His advice makes a difference. What are you doing? What are your best channels for anyone that wants to follow you? Also any social media tips? I mean, I've interviewed you before on just how to win with social media. And I think between the NAR settlement coming, there's opportunity to bring leadership and clarity. With rates coming down, there's opportunity to bring value, leadership. Any, anything you want to share about your social media strategy, and
yeah.
also um, close out with the audience on that.
Okay, cool. Keith, Instagram is probably one of the best ways, but I think there is significance in saying just Google me. I was in a real estate office giving a presentation. Someone asked how do I get a hold of you. I said, just Google Keith Collins Mortgage. You'll find a ton come up. So there's a lot of opportunity that comes from that, and being confident in your internet presence. Instagram is probably one of the best ways to follow me, and I put it in there. That's the Keith Collins team. Instagram allows you the opportunity to really stand out in a very muddied area and crowd. And if you can come out and provide information and resources for real estate agents to share to their community, they will do it. One of the big things that they want to share about and talk about right now is financial markets and interest rates. For example, I think I shared this with you, Dave, and this might be why you're leading into this, but I recently shared that previous strategy about the refinance and the principal reduction as a reel. And that reel was like 30 or 40% more views than my last 5 reels. And it was all due to the shares. So, what is working, what's being shared, and then lean in on that. But for me, from a social media standpoint, I moved out here to Nashville. All of my, I would say 100% of my real estate relationships have come from social media in the move out here. And that's just engaging with people. And so, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
social media is
So
massive.
yeah, so I'm going to put a copy of this. It was titled, I wish more people would evaluate. Actually, let me share my screen real quick so you guys can all see this. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but let's close out because it's great leadership. I would love to see more of you doing the kinds of things that Keith is doing. Denise Donahue is doing similar things. But here's my screen.
It's
I'm on.
over $100,000 swing in additional principal reduction. This is how I wish most people would look at the numbers when evaluating a refinance. So for this client, they have a 7.5% fix. We're going to move them to 6.625, and they're going to save $316 a month, which is awesome. But they're going to go to a new 30-year fixed loan. And if they don't do anything smart with this, they actually don't save any money. So our suggestion is take the $316 a month, apply it towards the principal, and you'll actually turn your 30-year fix into a 21-year loan. It saves you $10,000 over the next 5 years, but here's the magic. In a 15-year period of time, it's over a $100,000 swing in additional principal reduction. So their current path, they'll pay $89,000 in principal in the next 15 years. If they go with our suggestion and our advice on the refinance, they actually pay $191,000 in principal with no change in spending habits. That's the magic of a refinance.
Guys, that's the magic of being a mortgage coach, being well scripted, knowing how to use your camera, having a following on social media. Guys, let's give a big hand for Keith Collins. Use the reaction button. Let us know what you thought of today's call. Keith, dude, just you make your local community better. You make all the customers you serve better. You obviously create tons of value in this community, and I'm super grateful for you, bro.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you so much. Grateful for the opportunity to be on the call.
All right, guys. So if you have not already subscribed to the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, subscribe today so that you get alerts every time we post something. If you are not following me at savageinsights.com, that's where I always put whatever show I'm doing next. That's updated literally daily. and the mobile club a couple times a week. You know, I'm not going to spam your phone with text, but when I think there's like, this is money, like that interview with the #1 buyer agent, Ken DeLeon, last week. Like, if you still have not watched that interview, watch that interview. Did you watch that interview by any chance? No? Okay.
I did not.
I promise you, you will get value from that. Check it out. And then, of course, anybody that's not a mortgage coach, you can, get signed up, go to our website. Anybody that wants to learn more about any of our enterprise offerings, go to our website and get a demo. Guys, this is a wrap. Keith Collins, you the man, bro. Take care, everybody.
Thank you guys. Have a blessed one, everybody. Take care.